Some of the biggest names in football have the world's attention every time they kick a ball. These players are celebrated across continents, followed by millions, and endorsed by the biggest brands. But despite all that fame and power, when it comes to speaking out against FIFA, their silence is almost always guaranteed. This contrast between influence and silence is hard to ignore. In today's video, we are looking at why so many top footballers choose not to speak against FIFA. What exactly are they afraid of?
Beginning, yes. She's not allowed now to watch big games. Other 2 or 3 guys there around.
And why does this silence continue, even when controversies are right in front of them? Let us start by looking at a real-life example that shook the football world. When Mesut Özil publicly criticized the treatment of Uyghur Muslims in China, things got serious very quickly. Almost immediately, Chinese broadcasters stopped airing Arsenal matches. One statement, and suddenly a whole market was lost. This reaction was not even directed by FIFA, yet the impact was massive. It showed the scale of the consequences a player could face for expressing political opinions. The message was clear. If a single tweet can affect global viewership, then speaking up comes with real risks. This example quietly echoed through the football community. It became one of those moments that made others pause and think twice before saying anything. Now, if that incident was not enough, the 2022 World Cup in Qatar made things even clearer. During the tournament, several European teams had planned to wear One Love armbands to show support for LGBTQ rights. It was meant to be a simple gesture, one rooted in inclusivity. But FIFA had a very different stance. They warned that any player wearing the armband could be booked with a yellow card right at the start of the match. That was not just a rule, that was pressure. Suddenly, team captains like Harry Kane and Manuel Neuer, who had originally committed to the message, pulled back. It became obvious that speaking out, even silently through a symbol, was not welcome. This sent a powerful reminder to players around the world. If FIFA could threaten sanctions over an armband, then the space for freedom of expression was extremely narrow. As we look deeper, it is not just about being silenced on the field. The risks extend far beyond the 90 minutes of a match. When a player speaks out on controversial topics, it can affect their sponsorships and brand deals. Companies want a clean image, and they often avoid associating with athletes who are seen as politically bold. That means less money, fewer campaigns, and shrinking global exposure. On top of that, team selection can quietly become political too. A player who stirs up too much attention for the wrong reasons might find himself excluded from national squads. These decisions are rarely explained. They just happen. Behind all this is the quiet influence of FIFA. The organization plays a massive role in shaping football at every level. That kind of power means a player's visibility and success can be affected in ways that are never openly discussed. And so staying silent becomes more about survival than choice. This helps explain why some of the world's biggest stars keep their distance from these issues. Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, players who dominate headlines week after week, rarely, if ever, speak against FIFA. It is not because they have no opinions. It is because their careers are too valuable to risk. These athletes work with media experts, branding teams, and corporate sponsors. Every word they say is carefully considered. One wrong move can lead to public backlash, media drama, or financial loss. So they choose to focus on the sport and leave the politics alone. Staying neutral is not always a lack of care. Often it is a defensive move to protect their legacy. Interestingly, many of the voices that do speak up come from those who have already retired. Once a player hangs up their boots, the risks fade away. That is when we often hear more honest opinions. Retired professionals have spoken about FIFA's decisions, the pressure behind the scenes, and the things they could never say when they were still active. Without the fear of being benched or dropped from a squad, they finally speak freely. This shift in tone is noticeable. The same players who were quiet during their careers often become much more vocal after retirement. It is not a coincidence, it is timing. When you have nothing left to lose, your voice gets louder. But it is not just the players. The sports media plays a part in this silence as well. Many big media outlets tend to avoid direct confrontation with FIFA. Journalists rarely ask sharp or challenging questions when interviewing top players. The focus stays on match results, training routines, and team tactics. The deeper issues are usually left untouched. Because of this, players are never pushed to take a stand or comment on football politics. That silence gets reinforced. Controversial topics stay buried, and the cycle continues. Everyone plays along, and the tough conversations never happen on the record. So where does that leave us? Speaking against FIFA is not a simple decision. It carries real consequences, both personal and professional. From missed opportunities to public criticism, the risks are everywhere. For many players, staying quiet is not about agreeing with everything. It is about surviving in a system where speaking out can close doors. And while the silence may seem frustrating, it is often the only choice they feel they have. It is strategy. And behind that strategy is a lot more fear than most people realize. So now it is over to you. Do you think players should still speak out, even if it risks their careers? Or do you understand why many of them choose to stay quiet? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts with us.